Allora, buon pomeriggio a tutti. Io sono Valentina Menchini, sono responsabile dell'ufficio risorse umane della Pierburg Pump Technology Italy SPA, gruppo Rheinmetall. Io mi trovo nello stabilimento di Livorno, in Toscana in questo momento, e faremo oggi con Livio Mio, che è il nostro responsabile dell'ufficio ricerca e sviluppo per la parte elettronica a Torino, e faremo una piccola presentazione di chi siamo e che cosa produciamo e delle nostre caratteristiche principali.
Ok, buongiorno a tutti. Come già detto, io sono Livio Mihu, sono il responsabile dell'ufficio tecnico di Torino per il sviluppo elettronico. Faccio la prima parte della presentazione dell'azienda. Parlerò in inglese per due ragioni. Uno, perché anche la presentazione, il materiale è già in inglese, anche perché il mio inglese è un po' meglio del mio italiano a questo punto, e allora preferisco di farlo così. Allora, iniziamo con Rheinmetall or Pierburg Pump Technology Italy SPA as the name of the Italian company. So Rheinmetall, it's a German company, a German group based in Düsseldorf, Germany, publicly listed, with two main areas of activities. On one hand, there is the automotive part, where we are a tier 1 supplier for different OEMs, and we are developing and producing different products that we will see later on a little bit in this presentation. On the other hand is the defense part of our business, which is, let's say, not directly the goal and scope of our presentation today, as Pierburg Pump Technology Italy SPA is actually part of the automotive part of the business. So, in terms of size, just to make a little bit of idea, this is a medium-sized company, the group overall. So we are talking about sales around 6 billion euros overall, the group. We are talking about 25,000 employees. Usually both the sales and the employees are split almost half and half, or 40-60, between the two areas, between automotive and sorry, defense. Here we see figures like financial figures from 2020, which are maybe not the most relevant one, because we all know, let's say, how the automotive sector was affected by the pandemic. Nevertheless, a very interesting information to see is that still the automotive part of the business was black figures also on 2020. So we made a little bit of profit, small one, but we made a little bit of profit. Defense, on the other hand, was going excellent, with sales increasing, profit increasing, everything increasing. Overall, the group had one of the best years last year in 2020. To give a little bit about of history, especially about the automotive part, and where the name Pierburg is coming from. So Pierburg, it's a company, a German company that is more than 100 years old. Actually started here in 1909 with different components for automotive. A very interesting one is that it was the inventor of the Solex carburetor, for example. So this was a product where Pierburg was a market leader for almost 40 years or so, until the injection system from Bosch penetrated the market. Then in, let's say, more recent times, so 50, 60 years ago, the same Pierburg invented the EGR valve that is currently present in all our vehicles. And it became, again, a market leader on a different product, like this EGR valve. Then the recent times, they started to produce also oil pumps, water pumps, and different other type of mechatronic products. And in, let's say, in the recent past, it was everything integrated into the Rheinmetall group. So as a background and as a history, there are, let's say, 100, 120 years of history behind history of automotive supplying. In terms of presence over all the world, it's quite interesting. So let's say probably it's about 60 locations or more. This is happening on all the continents. So there is Rheinmetall everywhere, with some exceptions, for example, for the automotive part that is not present in Africa or in Australia, for the simple reason that there are no OEMs. So basically we have no customers to sell to. But overall, Rheinmetall is present everywhere, with a big presence in Europe, and obviously a big presence in Germany, where the headquarters are. We'll talk about Italy a little bit later into this presentation. Looking a little bit of the company structure, we see here that there are various divisions. So the first three ones on the left of the screen are defense divisions, like, for example, vehicle system that is building all kinds of military vehicles or special purpose vehicles, like electronic solutions, for example, developing training solutions, simulators for planes, for ships, for various other trainings, weapon and ammunition. The name, I think, it's self-explanatory. Nevertheless, they are not, sorry, it went a little bit in front. They are not the focus of today's presentation. Today we will focus more on here, sensors and actuators, and materials and trade. So these are the automotive divisions, and I will focus on the sensors and actuators, which is actually the mechatronic business of Rheinmetall. And the name Pierburg is actually all about these mechatronic products. So for us, more or less, this is Pierburg. These products are still marketed with, let's say, the logo, the name, and so on, because this is the way they are known to the automotive market. And we see here there are various business units inside responsible for various products, types of products, like pump technology, like actuators, automotive emission systems, solenoid valves, commercial diesel systems, and so on. We'll talk a little bit about it more in detail later. Besides that, there's the materials and trade, who, as the name says, is producing and selling aftermarket components, and it's also casting all kinds of components, from structural chassis components to everything that can be casted from aluminium, iron, or more recently carbon fiber, for example. To give a hint about the customers that we are serving, so this is just, let's say, an informative slide. The percentages don't need necessarily to be these ones or to be maintained like this, but the main message of the slide is that actually we are supplying to almost all the OEMs around the world. So with small exceptions, like Toyota, for example, all the others are our customers in one way or another. In terms of products, and here we focus on the mechatronics, on the Pierburg part of the business, we actually see the products that are above the middle line here, and we see them somehow from the past till the present, and then a little bit to the future. So we see products related to moving everything what is a liquid or a gas. So when we say liquid, we say, for example, coolant, oil, water, whatever. When we say gas, we say air, we say fuel vapors, we say more recently hydrogen, for example, and so on. So basically all our products are meant to be, let's say, a housing with an electronics and an electric motor currently that is turning something. In the past, everything was mechanically actuated, or for example with the belt from the thermal engine. Afterwards, the product started to have electronics inside because the need was also to contain diagnoses, to make it more efficient, and so on. Currently, the voltage range, for example, is changing, and the power is changing from 12, 24 volts, so from the standard passenger cars and trucks, to products that are now 400 volts, 800 volts, powers that are from 30 watts to anything like 7 kilowatts, for example, and electrical climate compressors. So all the products over here are actually meant to be part of the hybrid and electric vehicles. That's why they are also powered at different voltage levels, and they have different power requirements. And of course, we go even forward, developing traction units, electrical traction units, inverters. We develop our own motors, so everything what it is into our mechatronic product. It's not just that we develop the mechanic, we develop the electronic, and we develop actually also the e-motor that goes inside. This is, of course, if we look at the automotive market, was always driven, and it's still driven by efficiency. And when we say efficiency, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean also efficiency in terms of cost, because we are talking about high volumes where, let's say, any cent, any euro matters in order to be able to be competitive with a car. But we are talking also about energy efficiency. And energy efficiency is actually helping both, let's say, the main targets of Pierburg from the past and from the present, like emission reduction, but also the other targets like the electrification, because electrification is also all about efficiency in order to have more range, less weight, and so on. If we look to 2021, because I explained a little bit the 2020 environment, that was maybe not the best or not the nicest one. If we look to 2021, we are looking at a different picture. So we are looking at a different picture where the global growth in general, not just automotive, not just defense, but the global economy is supposed to grow 6%. We are looking at a recovery in the automotive production. Of course, a recovery driven by demand, and recovery hindered on the other side by the problems of logistics, of electronic components, of supply, and so on. But anyhow, a recovery of the demand. And obviously, we are seeing also increasing budget in the defense. So from the group perspective, let's say 2021, it's a very good year and very promising result. In terms of environmental, social, and governance, so-called ESG. This is an important part of our company, a very important part of the company, and the focus. As a consequence, also, let's say the remuneration of the management team is dependent on let's say achievement of these KPIs, and what these KPIs mean in, let's say, more simple word is actually environmental. It's obvious. We want to be more environmental friendly, to consume less energies, to waste less resources. So in the end, efficiency. Then social. So what we want here is to look at the people, to look at the society around us, and governance, which is actually to follow the law and to follow the ethic. And from this perspective, this ESG component, it's an important component in our general corporate strategy and the way we work. If we come a little bit closer to our context, and we are looking now into Italy rather than general Rheinmetall, we are looking back into especially into the sensors and actuators division, so inside the mechatronic business, and inside the material and trade business. And we see here the locations in Italy that are actually automotive focused location. And the main one, it's Livorno, that will be presented a little bit later by Valentina. So where we have all the administrative functions, and we have a big plant. Actually, we have an R&D department over there for developing pumps, especially focused on the mechanical part, on the hydraulics, on the flow, on the simulation, and so on of our oil pumps. And then we have Torino, where we have a sales office responsible for different customers, not just in Italy, but also North America, China, and so on. And starting 2019, we have the Electronic Development Center, where I'm actually located, and that I will show something in the next 2 or 3 slides, some more details. And then part of the materials and trade. So as I explained, different production for different components, aftermarket components. We have the location in Lanciano, where we also have a plant, but we also have a department of central industrial engineering. So this means that there are guys there that are designing and building lines, production lines that are afterwards shipped to different Pierburg plants around the world. Coming more closer to Torino, we started in 2019. As explained, we are focusing especially or only on electronics development, so on the PCB that is going inside our mechatronic products. This means PCB from the initial state of development with the microcontroller, with the schematic, with the layout, with everything, and the software that goes inside it. If we look a little bit around, we are, let's say, not only in Torino, but we are also in Neuss, where is the headquarters. So we are working together with the Central Electronics team in Neuss called MCE, comes from Mechatronics Central Electronics, and we see here a little bit various information about capabilities, tools, and so on. So usually we have high voltage, high temperature products. Our pumps are many times working until 150 degrees. We have microcontroller knowledge and embedded software development. We have an EMC laboratory in Germany, in Neuss. We have simulation tools. We have a process that is ASPICE compliant, because this is an industry requirement. We have power electronics. We have PCB design, layout capabilities, and so on and so on. And of course, everything is supported by a process that, let's say, we need to follow because it helps us to develop reliable electronics and to, let's say, serve our customers. So as you can see, it's a lot of tools. We have a lot of tools here that we are using. And for example, we need to have a development in a V-cycle, which is also an industry standard. with different tools that are supporting each and every phase of the development, from the customer requirements to the system specification, to the software electronic specification, to the design, to the testing at various levels, and so on. So we use different tools at different levels, and everything needs to connect to each other. So we need to have full traceability from the requirements to the implementation, to be able to say at any point that these requirements were actually implemented into our design, to say that these tests are covering these requirements over there, and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty much complicated environment, but it is an environment that you cannot ignore or you cannot work without in this type of a company and this type of business, to say so. And this is just a hint of it, or let's say just a general overview in order to have an idea. So to summarize about Torino, the goal of the Electronic Engineering Center here is to develop electronics. Obviously, we are all electronics engineers. This means hardware engineers, software engineers, software test engineers, and project managers. Everything else, so the mechanical design, for example, is done in the business unit. If we are talking about electrical oil pumps, this is done in Livorno. And I use this to also switch now the presentation actually to Valentina, because I think the next slides are more about Livorno initially.
Okay, thanks, Livio. So I proceed with English. So let's try. I try to speed up because it's we don't have so much time. So I would like to briefly introduce the history of our plant in Livorno. The plant was founded in 1937 by the company Motofides. It's how it's called in Italian, as part of the Whitehead group that produced defense product at that time. In 1945, the Fiat Group acquired the Whitehead Motofides in Livorno, and Livorno began to produce also automotive products. In the following years, there were several acquisitions, and in 2000, when Pierburg Rheinmetall Group, part of Rheinmetall Group, acquires the plant. So can you please switch?
Yep.
Okay. So currently we produce components for only for automotive sector, using mechanical processing machines and flexible assembly lines, flexible or dedicated assembly line dedicated for some projects or some customers. The main products we produce in Livorno are, as Livio said, variable oil pumps, oil pump with front cover module, electric oil pump, vacuum pumps, and tandem pumps. So some pumps combined. We have some principles on which our activities and our focus are based, such as customers, suppliers, processes, quality, leadership. And with regards of those one, we can highlight how you see here in the slides: encourage the potential of the employees, and the empowerment. So to give you an example of the empowerment or encourage the potential of our employee, I'm going to introduce you a 2-year course we organized for employees with potential skills to further develop their skills. The course was called Fly High, and the program was divided into 4 main areas. The first one was based on communication skills, based mainly on the effective speaking, public speaking, effective presentation. The second one on leadership and people management, to improve time work, leadership, and time management. The third one, the project management based on business excellence principles. And the fourth one on performance and management motivation with the help of using the KPI and the effective open feedback. So the result of the first edition of Fly High program was quite good. And we increased the motivation and employee retention. And we have also improved the cooperation and engagement within the group and outside the group, means with the other department. And thanks to this course, we have improved also the culture to the open feedback, as we said before. And the guys also had a great time, I guess.
Yeah, I think the pictures are more relevant than the words.
Yes, I guess so. Okay. So we regularly organize also courses for the production operator aimed to business excellence, to improve the process, to improve the product, to solve problems also with the involvement of the management, and all based on business excellence and 5S projects. One of the principles we saw before is about health, safety, and environment. Regarding this issue, we can identify 4 areas of action, and that we can see in the next slide. In particular, the hygiene and safety, it was very much felt during this pandemic period. Health promotion, prevention and addictions, prevention of addiction, and reinstatement, for example, following an injury. An example of health promotion we organized in 2015, 2016 is a prevention campaign on skin cancer, and 2017 and 18 a prevention campaign against prostate and breast cancer. In addition, we bought 3 defibrillators for the Livorno plant and 1 for the Turin office, and we did a first aid course for some employees. We had a case solved, unfortunately, for the better, in the 2016 when an employee had a heart attack in the office, and he was saved thanks to the immediate intervention of the colleagues trained for this purpose. Our holding has signed a framework agreement with the union, and the health, safety, and security are very important for us. So here another example, we organized in 2019 the Health Day, where we organized some events, for example, shiatsu massage, table football tournaments, or some prevention of glaucoma, and so on. So this is another example of health promotion. Another point important for us is also the demography management system. That means that we support the growth of our young people, and we support also the over 55s regarding the workplace, for example. And this also includes the diversity and inclusion issue that's at very much felt in our company reality. So that's all. It's a quick overview of our principles, our products, who we are. I don't know if you have question. This is the time you can write in the chat.
So I'm Valentina. I'm just opening the
Yes.
chat now, and I see one question.
Yeah.
Which is saying, I will simply read it. I don't know if it's visible on the screen right now.
To me, yes, but I don't think it's public.
Okay. So somebody is asking if there is the possibility to do internship with thesis projects. And if yes, it's better to check them on the website or just writing email to some reference that we find on the website or LinkedIn. And I think that the answer to this is yes to both internship and thesis project. And I think Paola is just sharing the email address or the contact probably that should be actually contacted. So we are more than happy if you are directly contacting us and introduce yourselves.
Yes, of course. I'm going to write on the chat the email reference.
Possiamo parlare anche in italiano, se qualcuno preferisce.
Sì, possiamo cambiare, ritornare in italiano. Se ci sono altre domande, abbiamo ancora 10 minuti a disposizione e possiamo provare a rispondere. Ok, a questo punto, se non ci sono altre domande.
Sì, credo che Paola possa mettere sulla chat magari la nostra mail, ma è comunque anche sul sito dell'evento. Esatto, curriculum@it.rheinmetall.com. L'ha inserita Paola in chat. Comunque questa è la mail a cui ci potete scrivere per inviare la vostra richiesta, se volete fare uno stage, una tesi, piuttosto che chiedere informazioni di qualsiasi genere, insomma, non c'è problema. Comunque adesso finito questo intervento saremo comunque disponibili anche in chat, sia io che Livio, ma ci saranno altri colleghi che ci supporteranno, quindi se avete altre domande, vi vengono in mente anche successivamente, ci potete contattare via chat sulla pagina dell'evento.
Esatto, vi aspettiamo nel stand virtuale.
Perfetto, se non ci sono altre domande, allora vi ringraziamo per la vostra presentazione, vi auguriamo un buon proseguimento di evento e di giornata.
Ok, grazie a voi.
Buona giornata.
Buona giornata.
Buona giornata.
Buona giornata a tutti.